You're live.
We're live. Let's see if anybody will join us. We're kind of new to all this.
Man, the storms are rough.
Yeah, the storms here have been really rough today. It's tore up a lot of trees and power lines and blocked a lot of roads.
Got I-40 shut down.
We're 8 miles from I-40 probably. I-40's shut down for miles both directions.
And we're getting all of its traffic.
And we're getting all the road trucks to this little town.
I haven't seen this much traffic in years.
Thomas Schmidt, Homestead. Howdy back. I just happened to see that pop up.
It's been a crazy day. A very crazy day.
It's rained for 24 hours.
Yeah, it started raining last night. Our little town's not made for all this traffic.
Yeah.
Our wee little gas station. The interstate where they're getting... Oh, I'm echoing over here.
It's actually called a city. We live in a city, according to the sign. There's no stoplights, no four-way stops, so no traffic lights of any kind. We've got all kinds of trucks running through here, road trucks. Hello, Rocky Homestead. We're doing great today. How about you? Other than the storm, well, we went to funeral home, then we went to a funeral too, but it's still been a good day.
Yeah. Sweet lady of our church passed. Wonderful woman. On the way home, we just kept meeting. Truck after truck after truck. Brett's like...
Shaking her head.
I think
you're not going to make it.
They have detoured the traffic through off of 40. Because we knew, and what was it, 7 semis had turned over on 40? So they'd shut I-40 down. And we're like, neighboring community has been hit pretty hard. They had several power poles down and lines and trees everywhere. Brett and I just snickered and go, don't think they're going to get that far from here either. Who knows how far they're going to get before it gets no passing.
Well, we was going to try to do this on the porch. We was going to have a porch sitting, as we call it.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk about things, but we opened the door and set the camera outside, and the wind was blowing so hard we couldn't take it. Blowing rain.
Blowed me over.
We got solar shades hanging from the porch. They was blowing in on us.
Rain blowed in on us?
We're in Tennessee. We're in the southwest corner of Middle Tennessee, I guess you could say. Right next to the Tennessee River. Well, at least we're getting rain. We went kind of like Deep South Homestead. I know I'm making a shout out there, but we went 7 weeks without water too.
Yeah, Rocky Homestead, it's been good and wet here all day too.
And it started midday yesterday.
Something like that.
The good thing is we didn't have nothing damaged. Less than 1,000 feet from our house, there was 3 trees took down.
Yes.
3 big pecan trees. Took out fences and parking lot light of the school. It could have been rough here, but it looks like it just kind of blowed through the yard. I noticed a few things in the garden was blowed over, but our little greenhouse made it. The house is good. Solar panels made it.
Gonna have to crank the chainsaw tomorrow and cut some of the tree out of the entrance of the school. Gotta clean that up a little bit.
We got 4 people in here this time.
Oh, we
got a couple of thumbs up.
We've had which I mean, our little town, the power was out, but now it was, as you said, we had a funeral today at the church, at our little church, One of the ladies passed away, and funeral started at 2. The power goes off at 1:30. So we had flashlights and everything, and it was almost all illuminated like a candlelit service kind of thing. But as soon as the service was over, just about the time they was wrapping up to go out, because our little church has a cemetery right there, the skies cleared and the sun popped out.
Wind settled down.
And the wind stopped blowing so hard. It was just enough to keep you cool.
Was able to give her a good send off.
No. So the graveside service was just good. We was all wondering if it was going to. The wind was so hard and the rain was coming down.
We hadn't been much on electronic stuff in the last couple of years. We decided to live a simpler life, get rid of a lot of things. And Dave just made a good point. We had a funeral service, kind of like a church service, completely in the dark, no electronics, and nothing but a few flashlights for light. And after it was over with, I told him, I said, look what a great service we had. I know it was a funeral, but she's a godly woman. It was a good service. I mean, it was positive, uplifting service.
It's the one she wanted. It's just the way she wanted it.
I had no problem with it being in the dark.
She is the founder of our community clothing closet in our area. And she's very well loved by many. And our poor old church was a busting at the seam with so many people. I don't know what would have happened if it had been a bright sunny day. I don't know that our little church would have held them all.
Rocky Homestead, North Central Arkansas. I've never been to Arkansas. I've been east and south and north, but
haven't been that far.
We'll have to go west one of these days.
Go west. Is that a song? Go west, young man?
It was a phrase anyway.
It was a phrase.
Out of a song or out of a movie.
During the gold rush.
Yeah.
I think. But one positive thing when we got home, I not as strongly believing that our little hot hut would have survived. I was fully expecting the plastic to be scattered all over our yard.
Our hoop house.
But it's still, well, I call it a hot hut. I don't know what it's called. I know it's got plastic and it's got hoops and it's got, anyway, it's still standing and it's still covering. Now, Pizza Hut would be good. You had to mention that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Now you got me wanting pizza.
We got spaghetti.
Okay, we'll have to have that then. But it survived. It survived the what was it? 60, probably 70 mile an hour winds we had blowing through here today. They were rough.
Hey, look.
That's right. You have one of them little weather thingies that tells you all that stuff. Some of the people around town
it didn't register here.
It was too hard.
No, it says 9. I know that's not right.
No.
That might be what we got though. We might have got 9 in our yard. But our neighbor over 600-700 feet away got tornado looking weather.
Honey, if we got a 9, it's only because your little reader thing out there is broke.
We're blessed. We didn't get hardly any damage. It blew a couple of the okra plants over. Turned the solar panels a little bit. I've got one on a swivel. We're using when we have to kind of follow the sun with it. Other than that, it really didn't mess with anything. Your hot hut is the plastic's a little loose, but
well, it keeps the plants all nice and warm and toasty. That makes it a hot hut.
Now, that's something we tried this year. I've never had the money to really build a good one, and we stuck our neck out and built a cheap one, but it didn't really pay. It's up. I know it's working, but we've had to work on it a lot. We need to put a little more money into it. It needs some investment done to it. That's what it is.
Hot house, greenhouse, yeah.
But it's basically it can be called any of them, but it just don't have no heat in it. It's just keep the frost off. That's all we really want to do. It's all winter or fall like plants anyway, but they'll grow faster and when it's warm and the frost won't slow them down or burn the tops off of them. So.
Did I understand you correctly? You're going to slow down on the garden stuff after Christmas?
Yes.
Yay!
That's when we start planting seeds about the end of January and February.
I literally have no spot in my home that doesn't have some form of a bowl, bucket, or tray of dirt. Yeah, case in point. He grows, which don't get me wrong, I love it. I love the fact that he does. But after a while, seeing the dirt around, you're like, honey, can we clean the house? I'm growing. Well, what's growing in that? It's dirt.
That's the Eva plant there. We're gonna have Steve Eva
What's wrong with
plants.
that? Oh, yes. You got my thumbs up, Rocky Homestead.
Thank you.
There's nothing wrong with it, but when you're trying to eat and half of the table has got plants and you're having to make like this little hole for your plate to sit down in because there's so many plants gathering around, kind of gets a little old after a while.
But she eats good.
Oh, yes, I do. That's why I'm the stuff I am. I don't do a lot of the cooking, so I shouldn't complain, I guess. I don't do a lot of the gardening, so I shouldn't complain.
We don't really fit in with what people think of gardening people. Because I am a larger man usually than most people that gardens. They don't see me being out there working. My own preacher don't think I get out and work like I did until I started bringing stuff to church, and I kept bringing produce and kept bringing vegetables, and he didn't know where in the world I found them.
I like what he said. I don't have to sweep floors no more. You can just start planting in the house. I like that.
If I drop seeds, they'll just come up.
Yeah. Oh, it drives me nuts though.
I don't think we need to raise rabbits or chase rabbits in the house.
Oh, okay.
Ain't that what they said about young couples? House so dirty you could jump rabbits.
Oh yeah.
We kind of don't fit that no more. You put up with me for a long time.
We are working hard on 26 years. Almost there too.
You've put up with me that long, huh?
Yeah. We've been together for 26 years. Dust bunnies. We got dust. We have plenty of dust bunnies. When you live this close to the road, lots of dust comes in the house. It seems like it's a never-ending project to keep the dust down.
It's always fun.
And we're fixing to crank up the stove, so that just adds to it. You can plant in there.
We run a wood pellet stove. We tried it last year. It makes really good heat, good dry heat, but it's not really cheaper. Anything we've done is just drier heat. We've used gas for years, and the windows sweat. Yeah, I think it actually causes sinus problems or allergies. Makes it worse because of all the moisture in there.
Oh yeah.
Everything feels damp when you run gas heat. We're gonna try wood heat again.
I like that.
Have
Dust cats. Yeah. Our dog don't let many cats come too close to the house.
And she wouldn't have a cat in the house.
No.
She don't like cats in the yard, but
Well,
they seem to want to rub around her legs and trip her.
oh, they hate with the
I don't
wood
know
stove.
I think you think they're trying to take you out. I think they're trying to love on you. You think it's a conspiracy and they're all trying to kill you, but they always catch you at the top step and they rub around your legs at the top step and there's 4 steps down.
He have 6. I couldn't handle 1, much less 6. Well, my defense, we did have a cat, and I didn't mind the cat, but it never wanted to walk on its own 4 feet. It wanted to walk under mine.
Conspiracy is trying to take you out.
The 4th time it tripped me off the back porch, I was done having cats. We have a few strays come through the yard, but like I said, our doggy don't like cats, so they don't stick around long.
We've had a few. I wouldn't call them wild cats necessarily, but they were domestic cats. But they came in and set up home and raised kittens, and our kids when they were little enjoyed them. My problem is they like to get in the garden. Anytime you till dirt, that cat loves fresh dirt, and they leave you surprises in your fresh dirt.
And you step in it, and bring it in the house.
dig in it, stuff in
Then
it.
it smells.
You got to watch that when you got cats.
That guy's got 10 outside cats and pigs and chickens. And yeah, he's definitely a homesteader. I can't
The
enunciate
cats
that.
are
Thomas.
if you can get a cat
Homestead
that actually
projects.
catches mice and catches animals and clean, helps out. Most of the time after kids play with them and pet them and love on them, they are useless animals. They expect you to feed them, they expect you to love on them and pet them all the time. They do nothing. The mice could actually run over them and they would probably just scoot out of the way
Now, we did
because
have
they're
one
become
cat.
babies. But
We did have one I liked. The one we nicknamed Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because this cat run dogs out of the house.
Thomas said they earned their keep outside.
Imagine so.
Means they're not coming in.
Well, I mean,
We've had a few.
we had that one cat. We nicknamed it, what was it, Arnold Schwarzenegger or the Terminator or something like that. This was one mean cat. Now, it loved us to death. It just crawled up in our lap, sit, no big deal. But you let a dog come in our yard,
It was whooped.
it whooped it out of the yard, which we didn't have a dog back then. If we did, I don't remember it.
Yeah, we had Samson.
Oh, well, he liked Samson, though. They grew up together. A dog come in our yard, big old loud. That cat went to whooping on that dog. This dog was like 3 or 4 times the size of this cat. He gets the dog and is trying to take it back towards getting it out of the yard and away from the cat.
It had a collar
Actually,
on. It was very, very nice little dog. I mean, it wasn't causing any problem, but the cat hated it.
I think you were trying to save the dog. It took its claws and lynched onto the back of that dog, and that poor thing couldn't get out of the yard fast enough.
Rescue kittens. That was good. Well, we've always had cats come up and we fed them, and of course the kids loved them to the point they became our cats. But
I think every cat we had.
I don't think we've brought but 2 home since we've been married in the 26 years. No, 4.
You saved those 2 from the place you worked.
I brought 2 home from work at that time.
Yeah, they kittens the mama had abandoned, and you brought them home. Yep. Other than that, most of the cats we've owned has been.
Yeah, she definitely had a good send off.
Oh yeah, very good send off. Most of the cats we've owned though have been cats that just came to the house and took up residence with us. Come to Arkansas in April. Oh, they're having a shindig.
I've heard of it. 300 pounds of dry cat food. Wow. They're healthy cats.
Kitty, kitty, kitty. That's a lot of cat food.
Mm-hmm. And somebody's got to take care of them.
Yes. Your grandfather would have.
Oh, yeah.
His grandfather loved cats. He had at one time, 7 or 8?
Yeah.
Something like that.
He was such bad shape, he couldn't really do much with them. He'd sit on the porch and get him a stick and play with them in the yard. They'd rub all over him, crawl all over him. He had such bad heart problems and numerous ailments, I guess you could say. That was his thing, though. He could get out on the porch and sit down and he could play with the cats. 1,000 pounds of pig food.
What's in pig food?
Grain, I'm sure. It's along with other things.
Are those little pellet-looking thingies?
They make several things with it in order to get the protein up.
My granddaddy used to have something. Little bitty pellets, little bitty round pellet-looking stuff.
We don't have enough land to raise livestock yet. We'd like to. I'd like to have a couple hogs and maybe a couple cows for our own use. But Ramona Ponderosa. Hey, how are you? 1,200 pounds of chicken. He buys a lot of feed. He got a lot of animals.
He got a lot of animals. We don't have enough space for a third of what he has.
We could have chickens. I mean, we're in a small town, but there's the only really ordinance they have is we got to keep them put up. But
Yeah, they
They
have
can't
to
run
be
wild.
in a pen. But I think you're limited to how many you can have too.
Yeah.
They don't want your chickens running free and stuff. 7 pigs and 200
200
chickens.
chickens.
I don't want the job of collecting those eggs. No,
Are they laying chickens or are they meat chickens?
they laying chickens. I wouldn't want that egg collecting job.
I know a lot of them buys a lot of meat chickens and then processes them really quick.
Ew.
They kill 50 or 100 a day.
Oh, they're laying. They have their work
He's in
cut
the
out for them.
egg business.
You do a lot of collecting.
I'd like to have, half a dozen, 10 maybe. That's probably all we need in this little area.
But they become meat chickens in the spring.
I knew some of them just bought a certain kind of chicken. They raise them up to a certain size and they have a processing day.
They just become different use.
Yeah. And some of them some of them just lay eggs and they keep them until they get old enough, I guess. Where they're not laying eggs good and then they get it.
That's my granddaddy did. My granddaddy had laying hens.
He took 5 hogs to the freezer count today.
Yeah.
They parted ways. Somewhat.
They'll meet again.
Mm-hmm. That would be good. I've got a buddy that he didn't this year. He usually raises about 2 hogs a year. And they cut them up and put them up in the freezer and make sausage and
Pork chops.
it's him and his wife, so they don't use a lot of it. But his daddy likes to cook the lard off, and they like to make sausage and stuff like that. You still think about all them eggs, huh?
Yeah, that's a lot of eggs.
He gets hundreds a week, probably close to 1,000. Good week.
Oh, 3
3
piglets.
piglets.
And I can handle. I like the little piglets. They're cute.
I always name my buddies hogs. He'd get them in. He'd be like, "Well, I got 2 hogs now." He'd show me the hogs. I'd be like, "Well, we'll call that in pork chop, and we'll call that in sausage." He's like, "Nah, we can't do that." Well, we can't call them pork roast and sauce meat or what?
Bacon.
He's like, "We ain't naming them."
Yeah, we had
It's funny. He always when he always done it at the house. He always killed them and processed them at the house. He always told them sorry before he pulled the trigger. You told the hog sorry. Raised on a hog farm.
You have to show me his last video. He has a video of the piglets.
I ain't got to see any videos in the last few days, but I will check it out.
Rocky Homestead is raised on a hog farm. I think he knows it. See, I can handle a pig or two as long as they don't turn out like my cousin's grandfather's pigs. Mr. Fred had a pig. It was mean. You got close to the pen and he chased you back out of the pen. Which of course we wasn't really supposed to be in the pen anyways, but
that's probably the reason why he was mean.
That was the dare. They dared me to go get on the. Yeah.
I had a neighbor had one. He'd bite the back of your leg. He'd catch you with your back turned and he'd nip you right above the.
See,
right
his
ankle.
are friendly.
But this one loved it. Apparently, it found pleasure in this because he'd get the dog, he'd get anybody standing around. But he turned you back on him, and then how a hog could turn its head enough to bite your ankle, but he would nip your ankle with its mouth. Of course, it'd make you jump. And he'd squeal and run off just like it done something amazing.
Come to think of it, I think I know why it was mean. There was a mean old rooster that roamed around in the lot where they had the pig, and he would flog you. You ran for cover when that thing come out.
My daddy was raised on a farm. Yeah. Back then, it was a very poor farm, and he had to work hard, and they never did have much. And he told me, he said, as he grew up as a child, he said, if I ever find a way off this farm, he said, I will never farm again. When he finally got a job and moved off, he said that was it. He would raise a garden, he'd do things he had to make a living, but he said, I will never farm again. Of course, back in farming was rough here.
Yeah.
It's just a way of life. I mean, they wasn't really farming for money; they was farming just to survive. But trap the wild boar.
Wild boar. Yeah, I'd say those are mean.
Buried in the fire pit count.
Oh
Pit cooked
yeah.
hog.
That sounds like a good count.
That's our biggest. He has a 600-pound hog that loves to be petted and his back scratched. Would you want to pet the hog?
No, I'd be afraid he'd try to roll over or lay down. Then I'd be stuck.
I'm talking about cooking the hogs. Makes me think of that old man. When he was kids, he done it. He bought a whole bunch of hogs. He was a retired veteran, and he never put fences up. He just turned them loose. He lived out several miles from town. He'd buy hogs. He'd turn them loose. They'd run off the woods and go feral on him. He'd buy more hogs, turn them loose. They killed hogs around here for years after that. They was all through the woods. We had wild hogs running everywhere.
I hope your foot's not under it when she rolls over. She agrees with
For the
me.
belly rubbing.
No petting. No.
Rolls over for the belly to be rubbed. And that's a baby right there now.
Yeah, but if it rolls over on your foot at 600 pounds, that might hurt just a little bit.
Your dog wouldn't love it. Mongrel wouldn't love a hog or a chicken or anything. Well, he would love them, but not in the right way.
Dinner's what he would say.
All we have now is
dinner.
we got a German Shepherd. It's a big baby. He's not to anybody else, but he is to us.
No, he barks at everything that moves.
He'd still curl up in your lap and lay down if he could. If y'all two could get in the chair together, he'd still lay on you.
Mm-hmm.
But he acts like he's gonna eat everybody up that comes by. I don't think he's actually mean. I think he actually enjoys it somehow. It looks like he's just almost happy when he makes them jump or scream. I think he finds pleasure in making people scream and run.
The little prance he has when I call him back, I'll be outside and he'll be barking and running and jerking and growling at people as they walk by, and I fuss on him. He comes prancing back like, "Did you hear him scream, Mama? They screamed. I made him scream." I'm like, "That's not a good thing."
You have a friend that has a male hog. It weighs 900 pounds in the same way. That's a large hog.
Yeah, just a wee bit. Mm-hmm.
Big baby.
I'd make the back end of the truck squat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bongo's just a little bit spoiled.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. If we don't give him any attention, he turns his back to us and gives us this backside. It's like, well, if you're not going to pay me any attention, I'm going to turn my back on you.
And he won't turn and look at you. He won't turn his head around. He'll face the other direction or look up. No matter what you say to him.
Northern Georgia.
Mountain Crest Farm, Northern Georgia. I hadn't heard that name, but I had to check that one out. I've got a whole lot of channels I watch. I've subscribed to 100 and something channels because I see little things on a lot of channels I like to read or like to watch. Or there ain't nothing wrong with learning every day, so I can always learn from somebody.
Thank you. Good. Have a Ponderosa. Thank you very much.
Thank you for stopping by.
Going to go fix dinner. Oh, she's going to go fix dinner.
After our fellowship meal, I don't know that I want anything. The ladies put on an excellent spread, and I ate way too much of it.
Yeah, we always seem to have that issue. They put on lots and lots of food when it comes to fixing for somebody.
Thank you for stopping by, Ramona Ponderosa.
I couldn't say that. I couldn't. The words run together. I couldn't read it from here. Well, oh,
The weather's seeming to change here in a few days. We got the 50s and the 70s right now. They said, well, the Weather Channel says Thursday is going to be, I think, high in the early 60s and low in the 30s. Our fall's lasted almost 3 weeks. By then, it'll be almost 3 weeks.
Yep.
We'll go directly to winter.
oh yeah. Well, we have. What did you say you had growing in our little plastic covered hoop? What do you call it?
Your hoop house.
Yeah, there you go.
We got broccoli and cauliflower. We've got, I put the onions and the garlic in there. Didn't have to, but it's got carrots in it. And it's got lettuce in it, cabbage. A few more little odd net plants that come up. There's beans that's growing from where I had beans this year.
There's a tomato plant that growed.
There's tomato plant in there that popped back up. They're all volunteers. I got volunteer watermelon plants coming up in it. We grew watermelons this fall in there.
Oh, that
We
one
didn't
we
actually
ate
grow
the
it
other
in.
night.
We didn't grow it in the hoop house, but we growed it in that spot in the garden, and I just built the hoop house over it. It's just temporary. Hopefully, maybe by Christmas we can take the plastic off of it. Maybe by Christmas you won't have to have too much gardening stuff going on.
I need a break.
We still got tomatoes and okra and winter squash and got
See,
a pumpkin. And
I don't understand
lots
how.
of hot pepper, bell pepper. I don't know. There's several things still out there. It's just slow, but it's cold at night.
I'm a lazy person because having to feed all those animals he was talking about,
You'd have to get out every day.
and I'm one of these. I like my breaks every once in a while.
They
That's
like
why
to
I
eat,
like
though.
for the winter to come along so the garden can kind of slow down where we don't have to keep up with them so much and we can take a break. It don't sound like he gets much of a break.
No, he probably likes it. I noticed there's YouTube channels that just plays ducks walking around or some kind of livestock. There's one of them that had cows the other day. There's nothing but the camera set up, and he was calling his cows to come eat. You could hear him hollering in the background, watch the cows walk around, carrying on with one another. It was a 10-minute video of cows walking around. Some people just enjoy it.
That elephant sanctuary over in Hornwall's fun to watch.
And he's selling all them eggs. He's probably enjoying some money.
True. But gathering all those eggs wouldn't be fun.
Like our buddy Clay, when he was a young man, they had a hog farm.
Mm-hmm.
They used to fuss on him to ask him how in the world he could stand the smell of it. He said, I don't smell nothing but money. He said he was in it every day doing something. He said it was consistent. They had hundreds of hogs.
Mm-hmm. It's been boy, now your joints just snapped and popped and popped and snapped.
Yeah, I had to move right quick.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Your joints snap a lot.
I'm crispy, right? That's what it is.
Rice Krispies. Mm. You snapped, crackled, and popped.
Getting old. Too much crawling around the ground. On the way home from Georgia.
Piglet in the back seat. That would have been fun.
That's a long trip there, Thomas. Trip to Georgia, then to Alabama, Virginia first, then Alabama, then Georgia. With a piglet in the back seat.
Have a bow in its hair?
I don't know.
Where have I seen that? Oh.
Yeah, we're
Charlotte's Web. The book.
We don't have any kind of animals right now. We did have rabbits. We got up to 30-something rabbits, and our litter got to acting wild, and they got to killing each other, and they was killing the babies.
And Bongo looked at him every day going, if you just let me over there, I'd take care of that for you.
So I got rid of the litter.
Yeah.
I only had the piglet in the back from Georgia to New York.
Wow. That's a trip.
Yeah.
But
I never rode that far in a vehicle.
you'd snap, crackle, and pop. And crunch.
I mean, we made a few trips down. Went to Georgia and Alabama and Kentucky, but
We've been to Virginia.
yeah, long time ago.
Yep, when we was first married. Made the trip to Virginia.
And we was traveling with the band though. Christian
Still
rock
made
band.
it. We played a little coffee shop in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the band that we was traveling with came from Virginia. So we jumped over, wasn't too far, it was like an hour or something from where we was playing. Ah, a truck driver, okay. Whew. He's used to traveling then.
I'm a school bus driver, so I go 7,500 miles a day, but I don't really go nowhere. Around
You
in
make
circles.
circles.
Yeah, I make circles. Long circles or loops.
He traveled further.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet yours is noisier than his.
He probably didn't have near as much excitement going on behind him every day.
Every day.
He probably does
Now,
at times, but not every day.
but bless his heart, he had to put up with all those crazy people that drive on the road too.
Mm.
That wants to go right up behind them where you can't see the mirror. No, that's not where you're supposed to ride on a road truck. You get in trouble quick.
They went to the HOA. Well, we watched it on the live stream.
Oh,
Two family had the live stream going.
that was fun.
We asked a few questions. Got to meet a few people on there.
I was hopefully we'll try to go to one of them gatherings or shindigs in the future. That came up on us quick.
We was going to the one in Kentucky, though.
Oh, that was it.
The picnic. The Heartland Homestead picnic.
Oh, okay.
We found out about it 2 or 3 days before it happened, and we just didn't have time to get everything in order, be able to leave out. Excuse me.
We'll have to remember. Cool. It's probably where you met him.
I was trying to remember if he was one that sat down there when I was there or not. We've seen several, so.
You know, I'm not as good with names as I used to be.
We watched it more on Friday than we did Saturday, didn't we?
Yeah, because it seemed like we had to go
We was
somewhere
off
Saturday.
for some reason here Friday. I was actually home.
When was that?
It's been a couple weeks. Day 1, part 3 when he was on it.
Yeah.
We'd have to go back and look it up. They've got it on there. Two families been posting it.
Mm-hmm.
I could actually go back and see what was going on. It's just been busy trying to get everything ready for winter and get the garden, the hoop house going, and church and
School.
school.
Oh yeah. School gets us good. Get up at 4:30 and get on a bus at 6 and get home at 4 and then try to do all the garden stuff too. I guess that's why I'm kind of looking forward to the garden slowing down just a little bit. I don't know. In the winter, I like just to be inside. I like cozying up to the fireplace and just kicking back and relaxing.
I'd like to go to a HOA meeting. I think it'd be interesting. We didn't have the funds to travel to Virginia one. I'd have to take days off from work, and we'd have to have extra funds to get there and stay somewhere.
Mm.
I hope to go to a future one though.
Yeah, hoping to go to the one next year.
We don't call this a homestead, but we do a lot of things like one. We're heading that direction.
We don't have the animals because, well, really, we don't have anywhere right now to put animals. If we keep growing in our property, then we would. We also live in the city limits, so we're limited to exactly how much we can have here.
Yeah. You can get away with a lot in this little town.
Yeah, but neighbors don't like noise.
I'd like to move a little ways out of town, but we wound up buying 3 houses and a house trailer here. So
Yeah.
I know we don't have to have animals, but I do want chickens. We just hadn't got her. We hadn't converted our rabbit hutch, I guess you'd call it, into a chicken house yet.
We got to move it first.
We got to move it and put a little fence wall around it and kind of make them a place. But they do have to be in a fence around here. We like the homesteading life, though. It's a lot of it is just our normal lifestyle. We've always had a garden. We always raised our own food and canned it and froze it and ate from it. We've simplified things. We've got rid of the television and the satellite and all that junk. We didn't really use it. It was noise in the house. Of course, we went to solar, about 50% solar power. We can't afford to completely change over yet. Get enough to run the freezer and the refrigerator, things like
It's,
that. Yeah, we're working on it.
well, and also we got a lot of other stuff. We're a lot of small projects, and now with the
Oh,
other
yeah.
2 houses, lots of projects. Because one of those houses needs a major overhaul. That's going to be a series of videos on that one.
We gave our daughter and son-in-law a place to live, though.
Yep. I got my daughter back close to me. I got tickled. One of my friends is
Got
talking
right across
about
the yard from you.
one of my friends is
They're all
talking
close
about
together. So
how they're they keep track of their children with the cell phones and those apps and stuff that you know where your kids are at all times. And they said that she said she even talks to her married daughter every day anyway. Still, I said, well, I'm still a little overprotective. And they said, no, I don't think you're too overprotected. I said, I went and debt and bought a house next to mine so she could move back into town and be closer to me. And they just snicked and went, maybe just a little bit. I just didn't like the little place where she was living there was no cell service, and they just starting out, couldn't afford a lot of bills, so didn't have a telephone. And the only way she could talk to me when she was home was in Messenger, because her neighbor would let her. He shared his internet with her, and so if she had strong enough signal, then she could message me. And not being able to get a hold of her, that was a lot. So
yeah.
When our neighbor said she wanted to sell the house, we decided to buy the house and move them back to town.
There's a little story to that, though. We moved here years ago. Our neighbors was a family that knew me since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to talking in the yard one day, him in his yard, me in mine. We kind of meet out there at the property line, talk. He asked me about selling my property to him. He said, if you ever decide to move, he said, I want to buy your property, your house, and everything you own. I said, well, I'm not planning on moving, but I said, if you ever decide to move or decide to change up, I said, I'd like to own what you got. That way we could control who's our neighbor. And it was agreed there that either one of us ever decided to move or something happened, we would buy the other person's property. Well, that was 20 something years ago. The woman called us last year and her husband had died. And she said, I really want to get rid of half of my property. She said, I'm tired of paying taxes on it. I just want it gone. And we agreed to buy half, which we have agreement with her to get the other half too. And it's a lot more grass or a field like area. So that's what we're looking forward to, is getting the other half. But it was pretty expensive to get the first half. So I guess she's giving us a year or two to get the loan down so we can afford it. But
Well, it's small lumps. I mean, she still has all her husband's stuff, and it was just something else. Her grandkids
she's letting
didn't.
go slowly.
Yeah, her grandkids didn't want the house, and so since they didn't want the house, she decided to sell it. And she was excited when we told her the reason we wanted it was to move Samantha back to town. So she was really excited that her family didn't want the house, but my family did. And my daughter was going to get to move close. She was really excited that she got to come home and be close to her, to us. So that was pretty cool.
We've got a acre and a half probably out of these three. And she sells us the other half. Well, it'll just pretty much double it. We'll have around 3 acres of city property.
Yeah.
Big city.
Our major metropolis that don't even have a red light.
You do have a one-way street though. That's the only bump in the road around here. You blink, you miss it. State highway runs right to the middle of it, and that's pretty much town.
Yep.
Got one name brand store.
Yeah. Dollar General.
The only thing here.
It stays busy.
We're a city, according to the sign. We just never have found it.
Yeah, but the way we come together for each other is pretty cool.
And the trees down just a couple yards over from us, the city workers actually came out, got their equipment and sawed the trees up and opened the roads up, opened the school parking lot up.
People with chainsaws all over the county is out, and
they're good volunteers around here. They take care of each other. Good neighbors.
We had a benefit for one of our teachers who has been out. Her daughter was born early, and community showed up and showed out, made real good money for her benefit to help pay a lot of the expenses that they have. We just, we were talking. There was a stretch there where it seemed like we had a benefit of some kind every week for somebody. And
you're right.
That's right.
You're definitely right.
Dollar stores are like, yeah, they're everywhere.
There's a town, it's over an hour away from here. It's a bigger town. It actually, I think it has a Walmart. It has several name brands in it. But it has $3 Generals within that town. There's one going in the town every direction you come in it. All three main highways has a Dollar General.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they need $3 Generals with a Walmart and the Fred's and all that other stuff they have there, or whatever it is now. Fred's is going out of business, but Fred is really selling the whole store now.
Yeah, we had a lot of benefits, but the week in, week out, we was having them. People showed up, and every one of them made real good money on them. And we all just look around and go, our poor community, but when we come out, we really support each other real. That's what I love about living in a small community. Is you've got people that will help each other and do stuff for each other. Always there. Oh, that reminds me, we got a benefit tomorrow.
Yeah.
For the Humane Society. One of the teachers I work with started a kind of a fundraiser to help. All the money that she raises goes. She does it in memory of her pet. He got about this is the second one, I think, second or third one. So she does one as a tribute to her pet that she had lost and raises money for the Humane Society. And that goes on tomorrow. And she'll do real good with it because people will come out and support it. It's got an auction and
helps keep the Humane Society going.
Yeah. Helps them buy dog food and stuff for all the stray dogs they collect. And
I don't know what I ate at that fellowship meal, but I'm having to water it pretty often now. It's like eating country ham. I mean, you can't get enough water, whatever it was.
Oh.
That would be another good thing of having hogs.
Country ham.
I'd like to salt my own meat and hang it. I've had friends that does it, but I don't have that capability here.
Podge. Is that how you say that? Hodgepodge Garden. Good
Good
evening.
evening.
We're just rambling.
We're talking. I don't know if we're making much sense. But
We talked about a little bit of everything. Ah. Oh,
I'd like to have enough land to have a hog or two. I think.
only thing I can remember about hogs is the summertime. It gets a little ripe.
Yeah, it smells like hogs at times.
Yeah, it smells, and that
It's
I
got the,
understand. There's nothing they won't eat.
got the little lime to them. Yep, calm it down. Yeah,
Is that true? There's nothing they won't eat.
I don't know if there's anything they won't eat. If they get it in their mouth, I doubt if they'd turn it down.
I wonder if they'd eat ramen noodles. Nothing else will.
People shouldn't.
I'm serious.
We ate them for years when we was first married because we
That's all
had
we
no
could
money.
afford. Starting out, they had 10 packs for $1.
Yeah.
They've cut it back now to 6. Yep.
Yep,
They eat them. Oh, that's the first thing I found that eats ramen noodles.
The reason we mentioned it, we ate a lot of them. I mean, we was first married. We both had jobs. We both worked, but I mean, we didn't make nothing. I mean, $4 and something an hour was minimum wage. $4.25. I think I made $4.60 or something like that.
We barely made enough money to pay the utilities and the rent.
Of course, we blowed money too. Then
Yeah,
early married couple, he was young and crazy. And we run all over the place in the car and spend all our money, and then we'd wind up eating ramen noodles all week. But our children, we started them out eating them. And one of them didn't eat their ramen noodles one day. And I pitched them out in the yard around where the dog was at. The dog turned his nose up at them. And I thought, well, that's odd. I kind of made a point to see how long it would stay there because anything you throw out in the yard, there's enough wild animals around here, even though we're in a little town, and the dogs that nothing survives usually. They laid there for 3.5, 4 weeks before I finally took a shovel and moved them because nothing in this neighborhood would eat them.
they didn't rot.
I told
They
them, I
looked
said,
the
that's my last
same.
one. If I can't afford nothing else, I'll eat them. But when a wild animal turns it down, the dogs turn it down, the cats turn it down, I don't want to eat no more. There's something wrong.
But they look 3.5, 4 weeks later like we had just thrown them in the yard.
Just dried out a little bit.
And they didn't look any different. I'm like, okay, they did not change. They didn't rot. They didn't mold. They look the same. They look like you had just thrown them out.
And we ate enough of them. We knew all the flavors that the store had.
Well,
Because you get tired of one flavor, you had to go to a different one.
I don't think we've made any since then.
Not much.
I don't. It'd be very few.
Of course, our little grocery store, it had 4 maybe flavors of them. You had the common ones.
Bless them, Lord.
You had the chicken, you had the beef, you had the shrimp, and you had the hot. That's all they carried. Just 4 flavors. Me and my husband were so poor and bad with money that we had
can of corn.
A can of corn.
I know that one, Hodgepodge. We
That's
had
what we do.
We split potatoes. We get potatoes was real cheap back then. We could get a 5-pound sack of potatoes for like $1, not even $1. It was pretty cheap. Many of the times that was dinner.
We ate fried potatoes.
We ate potatoes. We rented the apartment.
We didn't eat very many vegetables when we first got married.
Yeah.
It was ramen noodles and potatoes and
spaghetti.
What was that? Minced shrimp in a box stuff. It was $1. It looked like shrimp, but it didn't taste like nothing.
Yeah.
We enjoyed our time though. We had a big time everywhere we went. The Lord was definitely watching out for us driving those cars down.
Oh yeah. We have a lot of old vehicles. The newest vehicle the youngest vehicle we have ever owned is the one we have currently.
Yeah. It's a
And
2007.
And it's only, what, 12 years old?
And we drove old pickups a lot. Like my 7380 model. I could actually, if you stood there long enough, I could actually point out all the parts of all the different years on it, including body parts. There was 3 different years of body parts on it.
Yes, the blessing of being married to a mechanic is they know how to work on all these old cars. The other blessing of being a mechanic is they never get around to working on your car. Couldn't afford peanut butter. Oh, I've been there a few times. Had to take peanuts and butter.
That's when you have to go back to your mama's house or grandma's house and they cook you supper.
We did that a lot too.
It's called visiting.
Well, we had dinner.
They knew we didn't have no money.
We had a meal every Sunday because we went to my mama's house every Sunday. And usually on Friday, we would go to your grandmother's house and eat on Friday. But I will give kudos. Grandma is the only reason I think you and I survived that first year. Brett was living with his grandmother when we met. And she'd always taken care of people. Always taken care of people. She had a
servant's heart.
Her mother got sick when she was young. Her father passed away when she was a baby. So her brother was kind of like the father figure in her life. He took care of the farm and she took care of the house. So she had always waited on people. When we first married, she would cook Brett every night. She would cook Brett dinner. What was left after dinner went in his refrigerator, and that was his lunch the next day.
Yeah.
So when we got married, Brett kind of looked at me and he said, Grandma's always taking care of somebody. I'm not sure what's going to happen when she no longer has anybody to cook for. Do you care if we go over and eat? And I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, we go to her house and eat because she's a good cook. I'm not. I was not. I learned to cook in a hospital. That explains why I can't cook, right? I literally learned to cook in the hospital. And she would cook dinner. I remember I got in so much trouble. Now we're talking, when I met Brett, his grandmother, when she passed away, was 90. She was 95.
I think it'd be 90. She's 95 or 96. We can be 97.
She would turn 97 this year, wasn't she not? She would have turned 97. She was born in 2022, wasn't it?
Yep. She was born in 22.
She would have been 97 this year, and she passed away last year. She was 95, 96.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
when we married, she was in her 70s. So she would, and she had already had a lot of different health issues by then. And I thought she would tell me to bring our clothes to her house. She would wash them while we was at work and have them ready the next night. And we got in. She knew what time we got off work. She had dinner on the table every night. And what was left was still put in the fridge, put down in the tote for us to bring home for Brett's lunch the next day.
Good woman.
And one day I thought I was going to be Little Miss Housewife and wash our clothes. I used the laundromat there at the apartments we was renting. Yeah, I did that once. Prior to us owning our own washer and dryer, I did that once. Because that little old lady got on to me so bad. When I didn't bring the clothes over when we came to eat dinner, I thought she was going to turn me over her knee. I really thought she was going to turn me over her knee. And I got strict instructions. I was to not ever use that laundromat again, to use her washer and dryer. I could wash them, but I had to bring them to her house to wash them. But yeah, that first year, oh Lord, bless her heart. I don't know what we'd have done without her. Oh, Army.
Thomas Smith said he went to the Army when he was 16 by choice.
Mm,
I always worked until the last 3 years.
yep. And the health goes down, it's hard.
Hate to hear that. The health fell out that bad, but
My
I still
dad.
got I still got lots of years left.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I can make it as a school bus driver that long.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah,
I might have to change occupations on that one.
well, I mean,
Or you're gonna get a crazy check and I'll get a white coat.
Granny Swafford lived to, she was in her 90s. She was 94 or 95.
She was 96, 97 too.
Yeah, 96,
She was fixing
97.
to be 97 right before she died.
Ah, and then Grandma was
She's 95, fixing to be 96.
95. Yeah, it was just shy of her 96th birthday because it was on our daughter's birthday.
You too, Hodgepodge. Proud you stopped by.
Thanks for stopping by. Have a good night.
We've been going like this for an hour.
We have.
Yeah, I looked up her when they was getting off.
Oh,
I didn't know we could ramble that long.
Oh, that's saying something with this guy. You know, we've been together for almost been married almost 26 years. So we've been together for 26 years because we dated for about 6 months. But he didn't talk when we started dating, like at all. He would, when we was dating, he would say hi or something like that. We would carry on a conversation. I'd be like, "How was your day? Good. How are you feeling? Fine." I called him the king of the one word answers because he rarely got very many more answers out than one or two words. And that was something else. Of course, it paid that he was dating someone who didn't care to talk and communicate. But he found ways to only communicate with small words, small sentences. And then I guess after being with me for 25 years, you've learned to talk.
Yep. Sometimes
Yeah, look now, I can't shut you up. Only if I'm talking gardening or something like that.
And now I realize sometimes why I shouldn't talk. I get myself in trouble sometimes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You get in trouble sometimes. Oh yes.
In the Bible tells you to listen twice and talk only once.
Yeah. But it was fun. I'm trying to learn not to talk as much and he's trying to learn to talk more. So we're trying to shift into different.
I kind of miss my conversations with my grandmother though. She was the gardening woman. She could grow anything. She could cook anything. I mean, she was just a wealth of knowledge. I'd go to her house and we'd talk about things she grew 30 and 40 years ago, how she done it. Of course, she'd give me a long story about her kids and about her brothers or sisters or her neighbors. It was always good.
And the old milk cow.
Yeah, the cow got in there just about every time somehow. I don't know how many miles they put on that cow walking it.
It went everywhere they did.
Mm-hmm.
The old milk cow.
Hearing things about the 30s, gardening in the 30s and the 40s.
Oh yeah. That's for sure.
Says we can cook anything as long as you like it burnt.
I'm not the cook. I have to say, I did try to learn. And after
you can't learn from a grandmother.
My second heart surgery, and I wasn't allowed to do anything. Brett had to do it all. And he started doing a lot more cooking. I realized right then he was either the bravest guy in the world or the dumbest one. I wasn't sure which. Because in all those years, he had ate my cooking when he could cook 10 times better than me.
I watched my grandmother cook. She never used a measuring cup, hardly at all. She didn't. She eyeballed everything she done. She cooked with a lid on everything. I mean, she'd done it so many times though she could whip up a cake and never measure nothing. Just stir it up, turn on the oven, it'd be good, whatever she made. I learned how much that looks like. I guess you can say a pinch of this and a dash of that, and a little bit of this, and that ain't hardly enough kind of measurement.
That reminds me when my aunt tried to learn to do my grandmother's dressing. Granny's like, well, you crumble up the cornbread. Well, how much cornbread do you use? Oh, a little over pan. What size pan? Well, the skillet I used. She'd hold up her skillet, and that was the cornbread.
See what number
You're
it is.
like, okay. And you put a little salt in it. Well, how much? Oh, not that much. And she'd throw it in. And here you go. Put your little salt. Put your little. She's putting my hands like, I'm trying to write down this recipe. And she said, well, I'm telling you. Because my grandmother just throwed it in there. And there was no 1 teaspoon or a half teaspoon. It was just, yep, that looks enough. Yep, that looks right. It was so comical. My aunt just took the piece of paper, ripped it out, throwed it in the garbage, put the tray back over, and said, okay. We'll just keep eating grannies.
Be better off with the camera.
Yeah, you really would. But that was back when the cameras were like this big.
That's back before YouTube.
Yeah, that was before YouTube. Yeah, definitely before you. But now, Delilah did teach me how to cook. His grandmother taught me how to cook Thanksgiving dinner. Because at Thanksgiving, she still wanted the big dinner for the family. And she got to the point where she couldn't cook it herself. And I started helping her. And doing that, I did learn how to cook a good Thanksgiving dinner. That's about all I can cook good. It's Thanksgiving dinner. But I got really good at cooking Thanksgiving dinner.
She got where she couldn't pick nothing up. She was in her 80s, still trying to cook. Early 90s, she couldn't pick the skillet up to cook in it. Mm-hmm. If you get the skillet and everything over it close, she could get it going, or the pan, or whatever it was. The big glass bowls and big glass cooking pans she couldn't handle. She's 2 people, but she'd try. You couldn't hold her down. You couldn't tie her down in a seat when it come cooking time.
Mm-mm. Nope, I'd say, I got this, Grandma.
She'd get her stool and sit down in the kitchen with you if nothing else.
Yeah. I always had to have a job for her to do too. Oh man,
it's been fun.
Yeah, I think it's about time. Oh, it's over an hour. I think it's about time we close out of here and
move on to something else.
Move on to something else. I think we've rambled enough.
That's here. We cook Thanksgiving. We put it in the refrigerator and we eat it for 2 or 3, 4 days. We eat it till we're tired of it, and then we freeze what's left of it. But we give up after about the 3rd or 4th day.
Yeah.
We not only eat it here, we got to go to your mama's and eat it, and sometimes we go to another house or 2. And everybody here has the same thing. It's good. It's great the first day. It's good the second day, but the 3rd and 4th day, it's like, oh God, we got to eat that again. But you ain't gonna let it go to waste.
No.
You have a good night, Thomas.
Thank y'all for coming, and we'll see you on the next video. God bless you.
Y'all have a good night. Thanks. Thomas, the last one I'm talking to.